We have a Onkyo double cassette deck model ta-rw470. It has no overcurrent protection in it from the factory to prevent a fire from starting if something were to go wrong with the circuitry. It is UL listed, and they forgot to design overcurrent protection in the AC primary. So I'll show you the typical house fuses. See how large those filaments are inside there? And see the tiny little filament inside the fuse we're putting inside the cassette deck with the fuse block here. While it's taking time to melt and burn these filaments here, which is your typical house fuse, it could be causing a lot of damage to the inside of the unit. Okay, so let's get started here. First we'll cut this little zip tie off here. We're going to put the fuse on the live side here, so we'll unwrap this yellow wire here. And we'll get a piece of wire prepped up to put on our fuse block. And we'll strip one end kind of long because we're going to wrap it around the post. And we'll strip this other end kind of short because we're putting it on the fuse block. We'll dip the end that we're putting in the fuse block into the flux. And we'll tin it with our iron. And this is pre-tinned here. Okay, so we'll take our sandpaper here and we'll just rough our terminal up a little bit so we get a good solder flow onto it. Okay, so we'll clean our soldering iron tip. Okay, we can put some solder on our iron here. Okay, we'll dip our wire into the flux here. Put some flux on the terminal that we're soldering, top and bottom. Put the wire through the hole. Okay, then I'll take the pliers, I'll squeeze down, squeeze up, and I'll do what's called a drop solder. See how I get a nice, clean, neat solder joint there? I'll turn it over, look at the back, it's all nice and full. I'll take my flux here. I'll kind of measure this here with our fuse block, see how much we're going to need to clip off. So we can clip quite a bit off of that. Make sure I drop the excess in the garbage so it doesn't fall in and short something out. Clean my tip again. I put some more solder on my wire on the iron here. I'll dip this wire into the flux. And I'll mount it the same way I did the other one. Go in, I'll put some flux here. I'll need something to apply it with. I just dipped my pliers in the flux a little bit, and I'll put some here on the top and on the bottom. Okay, I'll put the wire in the hole. Shape it into place. Take my iron. Get nice and straight. I'll drop solder it there. See, it didn't quite fill the hole. So I'll let that cool a bit. Put some more solder on my iron. Get some more flux. Okay, I'll heat that up again. There we go. We filled the hole up nice and neatly. Let that cool a bit. Nice clean solder joint both sides. Filled on the back. It's a little bit shallow, so I'll put a little bit more on there. There we go. That's what I want right there. Okay, and I'll look at the back. It looks nice. I'll clip this little nub off here. And I'll mount this block inside the unit here. Put the washer on. I'll put the nut on. Make sure it's all nice and straight. Okay, this wire will be wrapping around this post down here. I'm going to bring it in like this. They wrap it clockwise, so I'll do the same thing. I'll bring the strand. I'm not going to twist these strands together. I'm going to wrap them around. Okay, so now I'm going to push this all down. I'll take the pliers and I'll squeeze in all the strands. I'll use the wider ones. See how these have a wider end? And I'll just squeeze and I'll just go around it. See, it's getting it all nice and flat. Okay, so I'll clean the iron one more time. Clean my tip so I get a nice clean solder joint. I'll use this piece of solid wire to apply the flux. So I'll take and go around it here with the flux on the piece of solid wire. Okay, so I will tin my iron a little bit here. I'll heat the copper and I'll apply the solder to the post and the wire. And there it is, all done. Okay, and we'll just finish it off with a zip tie. We'll put a zip tie back in here, right where it was when we took it apart. I'll get the loop kind of centered there so it looks nice and neat. And I'll clip the little end off here. And I'll tell you why I put the fuse in. See these diodes here in the power supply? And this power capacitor in the multi-tap transformer? If one of these goes bad in a shorting condition, or if the capacitor shorts out, it can overheat the transformer, and if the transformer gets hot, this wire can get warm, and eventually the cord could get hot, and it could possibly start a fire in your house. So that's why I put the fuse in, but before you do anything like that, always consult with an authorized service center. Thanks for watching.